the big thing in the house is the entry. It's a very important thing. The house has a center usually that somehow is the fire or the food. Important. Another important thing, at least for Indonesian climate, as far as for Greek climate too, is the courtyard, the atrium inside the house. And everybody, we have inside the house, we have places where we are with other people, like father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, with friends, or we are isolated, okay, like we're in the toilet, we take a shower, or we are someplace and we cry away from other people. So, or we laugh with other people, or we laugh alone. So there is actually, there are places that children feel very comfortable and they go and they hide. Anyhow, all these things we try to create places. Can I go to the next slide, please? And try to create 3D notes, like I hear a beautiful cock.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I hear too.
Very nice. No, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I love him. Anyhow, and we start taking notes with no symbols, not symbols because the symbol has a violent, which is not very useful for the student, according to my opinion, of course. After a while, it starts. Of course, people work with symbols very much, but for the class and for the studio sake, we try to avoid. So the three models are about entry, court, fireplace, centrality, coexistence. What other things that actually, let's see what individual, collective, internal, external, entry, exit, private, hidden, obvious, exposure, coexistence. Let's go to the next slide. So, as I said before, the court, for me, not for me, for the human being, I think, not, and for me, of course, too, since I'm a human being, is one of the most important elements. Unfortunately, this anxiety for the view killed the court. Of course, the court is killed because is vanished because people live in cities, so they don't have the luxury to have courts. I mean, to have a life outside, to have a symbolic kind of cosmos, Earth, with just sometimes the court. Let's go and see two different courts. Let's go and see them. Next slide. On the left, you see a beautiful court by a very, very good architect, even if this court is not his architecture. This is actually a monastery in Portugal, and the architect, Soto de Moura, one of my really favorite architects, he just put some, in this big, wide court, he just put some water. And only this water made this court so refreshing. So, and in the right, you see one of the smallest courts I've seen in my life. Very, very poor house. This is near my office, near the place which I'm talking to you. And it just have two flowers, one small table, but they enjoy this kind of luxury. Let's say, this kind of luxury for the poor. Let's put it that way. Anyhow, can I have the next one? One of the most important thing for the house, that's what I say to my students at least, is the entry. I've seen houses that are very, very bad, but they have a beautiful entry. Somehow the entry is very intriguing and very important to the people. A lot of people believe that the entry is sacred. That's why if you see in a lot of Muslim countries, they would put an airplane or they would put a boat. That means they go to Mecca with an airplane or they go to Mecca with a boat. In a lot of Christian countries, they put small crosses or they just put some photographs. They put some magic. They put, let's go to the next. The entry, these are from the studio, from my studios, models from the studio I'm teaching here at the University of Thessaly. The entry is a very, 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 very important thing for the house. The entry has to be inviting or discouraging. It can't be, if you see the entry on the right hand, it's a little bit inviting. If you see the entry on your left, you see this transparency, which is, I think, very, very important. I'm not showing all these examples as good examples, of course, of architecture, neither as bad examples of architecture. Anyhow, in the design process, and please have some questions. When I finish, I would need to have some questions from anyone that wants to phrase any question. In the nature of the house, it's very difficult to say how you begin, but you just find yourself. You find yourself because of your interest. It's difficult to, I cannot even say to any of my students how to begin to design. Many people begin by designing, by seeing other houses. Many other people begin by listening to music. Many other people begin. I don't know. It's very for me. It's very very difficult. Let's go to the next example. So my favorite way of beginning is models, as I told you before. Somehow we have two kinds of investigation. The first one is geometric investigation. Okay, you have like the one you're seeing. So you have straight lines and you have, these are a lot of models put together. All right, it's not, so is actually, this is the adventure of an investigation. Okay, it's not, so some people begin with geometrical investigation. Can we have this next slide? Some other people approach this investigation differently. You find here entries, you find centralities, you find inclusions, protections, exclusions. We need places. So, because in the house, what we need is a peculiarity of things. We need to be together. We need to be by ourselves. We need to be, so you have to create all these spaces, or you have at least to learn how to create, because believe me, even in my age, I'm 59 years old, I have still a very big difficulty when I have to design a house. Okay, but these models are, for me, are crucial because, and now with this corona virus bullshit, the thing I'm thinking is that I'm not going. Maybe I'm afraid that I'm not going to have my students with me. Not, of course, because I have you now with me, but because I cannot touch the models. You know, it's different to take this one and to see it and then to go back and to bring again and say, okay, this place you do this, and in the other, it's the 3D is another thing, is another. It has another complexity, and the model has another privilege and another complexity. So models for me are important, not because they give you the 3D notion, not because a 3D gives you as well as a 3D notion, but because there's something you can play God very easily. And of course, designing is you think you play God. It's not, you don't play God. It's not. Anyhow, can we go to the next model? These are some other models. I think it's better for your eyes to see the models rather than listen to me. I prefer not very strict, at least in the beginning, models, because people, they should learn how to change. And when something is not formal, is informal, it's easier to change. And the architect, as a designer, should understand how to change, first of all, his own bad ideas, because we all don't have great ideas from the beginning. Not everybody. Everybody starts with mediocre ideas, and then it goes. And you should, in order to, if something is very trashy like this, you change it very, very fast. You know, when it's very, let's say, expensive and it's a balsa super model, you cannot change it, so you cannot. Anyhow, let's go to the next slide. And little by little, we end up in the plans. The piece of land is it's a piece, as I told you, 9 by 21 meters, and with the big sides is like one house you're building. It reminds me, you posted, David, the house in Facebook. Reminds me a lot of the house I'm giving. It's a house not for very, very rich people, but it's a house of, you have to have some money in order to hire an architect. Okay, you cannot be total. But for me, the two big elongated sides are blind, because I don't think in their first design people should care about how the house is going to look. So they have all the small, and here you have a peculiarity. Let's go in the first plan. In the first plan, you see a non-geometric approach, it's a revolutionary, or the student believes it's a revolutionary approach. In the second house, after this, is a geometric approaches. And then you go to the fourth house from the first, second, third, fourth house from the your left hand. And you see this house with little courts. So the two houses in the left, they have very, very much incorporated the court. For me, the court, I don't know if I can talk like this because now people are listening to me that I don't know, but it's a place where you can take a shower with your swimming suit only, and nobody can see you. So the court is like a small paradise. You don't have to be dressed as you are outside. Okay, so the court, and of course we have architects like Louis Barragan or Hassan Fatih or other architects with beautiful, beautiful courts. For me, even a stupid, small, non-architectural court, but very well protected, and of course with not very high walls around it, is very, very important in order to have a house. Can I go to the next project? Now I put some models, some final models. Usually I insist of people to do some models. This is scale 1 to 50. This big. I'm sorry. Internet has no scale, but you know, it's, the house is a lot. So in all the houses, you see the court. And I have a lot of times I have a question from my students. That's why I think the first 2-3 slides are very important. Professor, why in our class all the houses look the same? This is, at the beginning it bothered me. Now it doesn't bother me at all. Why should houses look different? I don't know. Why? Of course, they are different if you go inside. They're different, you know. It's, but for me, it's very, starting from models that they're just very cheap and very fast, and it's very neat to define at the end, and it's very proper to have a very exact model. And these are balsa, wooden balsa models. Let's go to the next. These are some models. Let's go to the next. Besides the model, one of the easiest drawings and very, very helpful is the axonometric. No matter if you do it with your hand drawing, as this one's, or if you do it in computer, I think axonometric is very crucial drawing in order to understand either the stupidities that you've made or the very excellent solutions that you give. And usually, no, it's normal. I mean, and of course, only when we build a house we find finally what we have done. Okay, it's not even the model or the axonometric. But for me, now you see finished drawings. Those are easy drawings. Axonometric is easy. You just have to be patient, and you have to be to have a method. You know, just to be patient and go step by step. Usually these drawings are exploded drawings. Okay, that means the house usually I give them for in the second year in the school or in the first year design. It's a small house with 2 stories only. Okay, that's so it's not. Let's go to the next slide. I think it's very important to see, for example, you've seen the plan from this house, is the house with the gardens. It's very important and very useful, not for the client. The client wants actually very romantic and with pictures with vegetation and a piano and all this. But these are drawings very helpful either for clients that they know, but right now I'm talking about students and teachers, okay? I'm talking about us and how we investigate designing a house. These are very, very helpful to understand what you've done, what you propose. Please, let's go to the next drawing. So this is the house, the plan that we saw in the beginning. And over now, people understand that somehow all this complexity cannot be realized, or if it's realized, it's going to give us so much hard time. But anyhow, they have to learn this in order to be more simplistic. And let's say, if you consider this one to be a tension, or let's say from a person who is 19, 20 years old, and for the first time, later on, people, and that's why when people are making their portfolios, I always suggest to have their first house, so they can understand inside the portfolio, to have their first house, so other people can understand their progress and how they. Let's go to the next. And now this is investigation from one person. I have found 3 examples, and I'm finishing the lecture. I tried to be in 40 minutes, and I'm finishing the lecture, except if you have question after this. Anyhow, this is the models from one person, and this is the first slide, and then you're going to see the result, the final result. It's very important for me to see if there is a connection between, if it's not all the time, from the first thoughts to the last thought. Okay, this, I'm sorry, I'm not mentioning any names of the people that have done this work. It's all this is work from my students, okay? There's no,
Okay.
I'm not talking about the Soto de Mura. He was not my student. I'm talking about the other. Anyhow, let's go to the next slide. And this actually is the result. Can we go to the slide before? Yes? Back again. Thank you, David. Okay. No. Next. Next. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And this is the result. If somebody wants this, since you have all these pictures, please give it to the students if they want it. Feel free to, if somebody wants. Don't give them by force, okay? Just if somebody wants. Okay. Of course, I could talk for hours about every single one of these section. As you see up, part is very, very important. Let's see the next slide, please. These are the first models of another student. Now he is in England, this person. He works in England. And these are his first models. As you see, they're totally different from the other one. The other ones were more geometric. This one is more kind of, every one of these little models has stories, okay? They examine enter, they examine entry, they examine court, they examine coexistence, exclusion, inclusion. They examine, I forgot everything, of course. I don't remember what it is, all this. Huh? Let's go to the next. And these are some drawings of his proposal of the other. Please, let's go to the next. if you understand, I mean, these first models is like playing. It's like when you're young and you play with cars or little soldiers. And so you create spaces for all these little creatures, okay? You create spaces for life and for things that happen. So there is always some stories, of course, and there are some notes. You can take very easily some notes from these stories. Let's go to the next. And these are the results from the notes before. Sometimes you cannot see any affinity, you cannot see any, but for me, you can see these sketches I require from from the students to pick up 9. 9 makes a square, 3, 3, and 3. 9 sketches from things and places that are interesting inside, or they believe they're interesting inside their houses. And let's go to the last. This is a special house. It's not a house from my class. This is a thesis project. And of course, the result is very, very important. Usually the students, somehow, they love what their teacher is loving. So, and these students really loved the courtyards, which I adore. If I had to live in a beautiful view of a mountain or of a sea, I would rather prefer to live in a beautiful courtyard and see only the sky and nothing else. Like they were the first houses 2,000 years or 3,000 years ago. And actually, the result is very important, as you see the models and you see the, but can we see the last slide of today? But the most important for me in the educational method, it's the notes. To keep the trace and the notes of what you're doing. That's very, very important. Not that the result is not important, but it's very important to have a method so you can follow and then keep notes as there is these drawings that have. Actually, I love the notes more than more than the drawings. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Okay.
Happy if I can answer any questions,
Okay.
if I can.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof, for your presentation. I really appreciate about that. And then this time we have time to any question from our student, and then we can discussion in this session. Okay. Have any question? I think.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you. I'm really glad to be here for your lecture today. I'm so interested about adventure of a house. So maybe I will give you a 2 question. So I wish you will understand what I say. So my question is like, okay, for we can take a look at many folk right now, and most of them thinking if you want to build a dream house, you need to create it look like the place, and with it you can sense all of the adventure inside your house. But in the other side, some folk was said the dream house is where you can sense each side of your house, right? No need to be a place. Just simple house can representing everything about your adventure of house. So like my question is like, how can you be connecting the scenery between your design concept into the house? Is that my first question? And my second question is like, how can you create adventure sends itself into the house without reduce the main concept on an idea for the house. Yeah, that is my question.
I'm not sure I understood the questions, but that's all right. We'll try to talk.
Yes, thank you.
First of all, how do you live an ideal life? You don't.
Like you just mentioned about if you want to design a house or something like concept, you not need to relating with the concept, but relate to the human, right?
Every time you relate to life,
Yes.
and life cannot be under concepts. Concepts are under life.
Okay.
I don't know if I can. I mean, life is not a philosophical something that the philosophers found. Life, philosophers are found under life. So life, for me, is the upper thing. That's why we found ourselves living. Nobody decided to live. Okay, we found ourselves. The house is the same. It's not, I think, yeah, I mean, nobody asked you to live. Okay. So that's why I believe in no concepts of housing. I think concept is, I recall a very good friend of mine. Why do we need concepts in architecture? We need concepts because we don't have a common ground. If you and me had a common ground, if you go in Solo is a small place in Java. People will just build their houses. They don't need concepts. Why should they need concepts? If you say to them, you see, I have a concept, they're going to look at you as if you are sick.
Is it true?
And I agree with them. I think, of course, that doesn't mean architecture happens with no thinking. I'm not saying this, but it cannot be exhausted by concepts. And that's why people today, that's why contemporary architecture, most of the contemporary architecture is not very pleasure. People don't like it very much. They like their luxury. Wait. Okay. They like their luxury, and of course, okay. If you go to in Hilton in Jakarta, for example, which is the lake and the small artificial lake and gold, some beautiful ceilings. I remember beautiful ceilings in. I don't know if it still exists, but I'm talking about 20 years ago. Okay, but this is not real life. You know. Anyhow. But I think I asked the second part of your question. You see, no, in architects, for example, the architect, I believe when you start a project with some material and not, that's why when my students are telling me, Professor, I'm thinking of, I said, I don't care what you think. No, I do care. Of course, no. Of course I do care, okay? But it's not important what you think. What you do is much more interesting. We can talk about this. I'm not talking about you, of course, okay?
Yeah, I understand.
Anyhow, maybe that was the second part of your question. The first part, was it related?
How your design can be connected into concept and your house when it built.
It's connected with.
Okay. For example, like I will take some analogy. Like, I have a friend, like he's musician. It's really nice for playing music or something. But when he trying to show off, I cannot feel that song when he trying to sing it, even he have a great voice or something else.
It's the same thing with architecture. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. If, let's say, okay, I tell you, okay, in this place, if I take a model, for example, from here, and I wanted to tell you this, and I wanted to show you this and this and that. This is not. It's an excuse. If people like it, they like it. And to tell you the truth, a lot of times I ask people that are not architects, because somehow because we create, as every profession does this, we create our own world, and sometimes we have qualities and we create qualities that you and me share, and other people don't share it at all. The way a doctor sees an operation and the way I see an operation is different. I see if my mother lives or dies, and the doctor sees something else. The same thing in architecture. Somehow we see other things. When I see a building, I see a lot of times the structure, I see the materials, I see the concept, as you say, and I admire concepts which I hate. Anyhow.
Yeah, I think I got the point. So thank you very much for answering my question.
Thank you.
Okay. Have any question again? Another question, I think. Please.
Come on, my friend, please speak up.
Don't be shy. They're not stupid questions at all.
I thought they're not so shy, but they so scared for talking English.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But talking
Well,
about
my English is not my maternal language either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me either. But I'm trying to speak English.
Okay. Any question?
Sir.
Please.
Thank you, Parik.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
I really interesting, Prof, about your student. I love this shape. I think is cubicle shape. I really love it.
Thanks a lot.
And then maybe we can talk about what kind of interesting point about house design. Maybe we can talk about that. And then I think we create something house. We can share about this concept with our client, and then we can discussion about our client, and then I think architect, it's very important for concept decision. I think it's not about client, but it's about architect ideas. I think it's difficult to explain that, but in the reality, we have some trouble with that. Example, purpose, we try to tell about our client, what is your problem, what is your dream, and then what is your plan to the future, and then we create that. I think it's architect really important for create some space in our client house, and then I think is the first personal create is architect, not a client. What do you think about that, Prof?
I had a very bad relationship with my clients, unfortunately. So I think the architect today is a very complex profession, and talking about the architect in Indonesia or in America or in Turkey or in Greece or in France or in Italy is not exactly the same profession. There are places of the world that architects are so many. There are places in the world architects are very few. You mentioned, for me, client is important as the human being, not as the person that I have in front of me. The person that is in front of me, they have a lot of wishes.
Yes.
Some of these wishes I share, I understand. Some of these wishes I don't agree. All wishes are legal. Sometimes even super luxury or super crazy wishes, you have to understand and not criticize. For example, when I was doing some designs in Indonesia, I was designing very, very big houses, about 1,500 square meters. And all of the people, most of the people, insisting that the place of the maid, of the servant, were very, very small. I could not understand why the place of the servants were so small in Indonesia. They had the money and the space to have, but I think there are other. You see, it's easy to criticize and say, "Oh, this is bad, this is good, this is this, and this is that." If you believe that you're a god, that you have all the truths and all the right by yourself. There are a lot of things in clients I don't understand, but I think the architect is the client himself. It's a little bit. It sounds a little bit egoistic.
Egoistic.
But I don't. I believe that all the people, they have ways and levels of communication. I had, as I tell you though, before I told you, I had a great difficulty with my clients. I was very bad with my clients, to tell you. I was very bad professional. let's put it that way.
Okay. Really interesting, Prof. And any question, please?
I think some of my friends will give you a question. He's really interesting about the core. So, where is Aldi? Aldi, time is yours. Come on.
You.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, hi.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I have a question, sir. I see your student design in your presentation always have a chord. What about if we have limited site or small site? It's difficult to add chord to our design. So, what a solution for that problem? Thank you very much.
Okay, the first solution is not to have a court. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So you go outside.
It's not really important for
No.
building or house.
wait. The second solution is to have a small court. Like, let's say in Indonesia, you have a metric system, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Module.
Yeah, okay. All right. Even if you see the court has to do with section. If, let's say, there is a big wall and the court is small, then you don't feel very well. Okay, it's the question. I will show you. I don't know if you see this.
Yes, sir. I see.
Okay. The problem is the problem of section. For example, this is a very bad court.
Yeah.
This is okay. And this is, I would say, super.
Yes, sir.
What do I mean by that? I've seen courts. It's nice to have a court, let's say 7 by 7 meters. But sometimes I have seen courts that there are 1.5 meter by 3. It depends on the height that you have near you. You understand what I'm saying? And it's but sometimes even a small court. I'm not talking about balcony. Balcony is not the same. I'm talking about court. Court is a place that you can go with your underwear. Nobody. You know, it's very important.
Yes, sir.
Small paradise.
Small paradise.
Small paradise, Prof.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes though we have. You're correct. My friend Renaldi Primala is correct. Sometimes we cannot have a court because when you do apartment houses very small in Tokyo, for example, in Tokyo, how can you have a court? Not even a millionaire cannot have a court. But in Jakarta, you can have a court. Even if you are middle class, you can have a court.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Another place. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great question, my friend.
Okay, have any question in the other person?
Can I have question, please?
Okay, please, Mr. Eko.
Hello, Professor Kanarelis.
Hello, Mr.
Hi. It's very nice to listen to your lectures.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't say this out of politeness, I hope.
Oh, no. I think we have different issues of design that we face when we design houses. But I would like to raise questions concerning technical things. How many assignments do you have in one semester for the second year semester that you assign students to design a house?
Actually, the whole semester is the subject of the semester is one house. Actually, only one house. And we do, this is very important, we do a studio twice a week for 4 hours each time. When I was studying...
2 times 4.
2 times 4, which is very little.
Okay.
It's very little. When I was in student in America, it was every day for 4 hours.
5 days, 5 times 4.
5 days from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock, and then all the other classes were like this. In Greece, it's different. We have, and actually in one semester, we cut the semester in 2 parts. Let's say we have, but the main thing is the house. There are a lot of you see, every country, as far as I know, I don't know much as far as architectural education, but every country has a different. For example, in Anglo-Saxonic countries, the program is very intense. In a trimester, we don't have. In Greece, we have semester. Okay, 2 semesters. In the US, we have 3 quarters. We call
Quarters,
them.
yeah. Yeah, you went to
And
Minnesota. Yes, a quarter system.
Exactly. In Minnesota, we had quarter system. And actually, we had, in 1 quarter, we had 3, 4, 5 assignments. But in Greece, in 1 semester, we have 1 assignment, though we have a lot of different kind of separation inside that 1 assignment.
Mm-hmm. Is that the third, the third or the fourth semester of the year?
The class I'm teaching is the first year of architecture. That means their second year in the university.
Second year. It is the third or the fourth semester?
This is the 3rd semester.
This is semester, okay. Can you tell me how is the area of the house? How many square meters?
The square meter. Yes. Okay, the area is 9. The land. The land is 9 meters by 21.
Okay, less than 200 square meters, eh?
Okay, yes, and then, but they can have windows only inside the lot of the inside this, or in the small parts. That means they can have windows only from the 9 meters, not in the 21 meters. And this is because if you start with elevations, people care so much about how it looks that they don't.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how.
Do you always design the same projects? I mean, that 9 times 21?
Yes. It's actually, I received right now a message from a student of mine from Sweden. She's in Sweden and she's looking at us right now and said, Theoklis, do you still give the same thing? I said, yeah. Well,
and what was your answer? I'm curious.
I'm sorry?
What was your answer? I'm curious. I'm curious about what was your answer to your student, to your former student?
Yes, I still do give the same project. No, it's not. I'm not getting. Usually, I'm getting tired very easily, but with that's what I teach in the first semester. In the second semester, I teach another class for 4th and 5th year design. There, I get bored very, very easily. But with that's why I prefer very much the small studios.
Can we discuss something else than the third semester? Let's say the thesis project.
The thesis project that I presented?
Yes. You mentioned a thesis project of your students. Can we discuss about that?
Of course, we can discuss it.
Yes. Okay. It's not about houses. And again,
These are. It's a very peculiar project. I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't have it here. I have a lot of pictures from it. But actually, this is a big house with a church.
Big house with a church.
It's a very strange project because it's in Bethlehem in Israel, in Palestine. Actually, it belongs to a monastery. The monastery is in the desert, but they have this design is a house for monks when they come to the city in order to go to the doctor or go to the So it's, let's say, a super duper house with a church.
My question is, who selected the projects? Did you give the students the program, or did the students?
This is like marriage. You know, who proposes the marriage? Both somehow.
Okay.
This is not. It's not. It's ideas. You know, you are with students when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and by the end of the school, with some students you have a closer kind of. Usually, those are the people that they make thesis with you. We are a small school, you know. It's so you get to know very well your. So in our class, for example, it's about 25 people, which is very big class for American universities, but it's a very small class for European universities.
Okay. And what is the average projects that student likes to have for their thesis?
What is the average project?
Yes, the popular projects, yeah.
My God, I never thought of this question. It's interesting. Your question is very, very interesting. No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Usually they have art center and museums and information center and something actually that is very loose as far as program. Of course, when I was a student, they were telling us never do as thesis house and school of architecture because they're going to kill you. You know, all your professors are going to kill you.
Okay. And how big are the projects? I mean, the buildings?
Usually the buildings are from 2,000 square meters, 4,000 square meters, 20,000 square meters, 1,500. It depends. It's not 100 meters or 200 meters. It's not, either though. It's very interesting, I think, to give as thesis a house. It would be very, very interesting. This is this is a way to check what you have done in your educational process.
Okay.
You know,
okay. So it's in the 10th semester, right? 10th semester.
This is the 3rd semester. Yes.
I mean, the thesis break is in 10 semesters.
10th semester, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
10th semester. It's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last question. Could you mention your name, the name of your friend in Indonesia?
Haryanto Sutandi. Hari.
Yes.
Sutandi.
Studi. Oh, okay. I never met him.
He's not into architecture.
Oh yeah. How long he spent his life in architecture?
He's an architect. We used to have an office in the beginning, but then I think now, at least 20 years ago, because we have not kept in touch much. We love each other, but we just don't. You know how life is. You just go your away. And he had an office, but now he's into mechanicals, and I don't know exactly what he is.
Okay. Yeah, but 20 years ago we had a bad economic disaster.
That's when our office. That was when our office closed.
Oh yeah, you mean your office in Jakarta?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eko. For your now, Prof. Mr. Eko is head of architecture program in here.
Really?
Yes.
Then we should organize something like a workshop.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I'm very seriously. Let's this thing finish, this stupid thing, Corona bullshit, and then we should come and visit you. Or you could come.
You are welcome.
Let's keep in touch.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, David, very, very much. It was a big pleasure for me, seriously.
Yeah. Yes. Mr. Eko came from Yogyakarta too, Prof.
Really?
Yes.
I was born
Jakarta.
in, no, I was born in Jogja, and I spent my life until I went to and I finished my high school in Jogja, and then I moved to Bandung,
Ah,
and I visited Minnesota in around 80. Wait a minute, 87 to 89. Because my wife.
Harry left Minnesota 83. I left Minnesota 84.
Okay, we missed it. Yeah, I visited Minnesota 87 to 89 frequently because my wife studied in Minnesota in St. Paul.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, but I still remember the beautiful Tamam Mini in
Taman Mini.
no, and then the old Batavia, the old city of
Yeah.
Batavia. Fantastic. It was just, for me, Jakarta is great. It's beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. Anyhow, the whole Java and the whole Indonesia is beautiful, but that's another question, is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
For last question, I think. Last question. Other person?
Please, any question?
No, it's fine. It's whatever they feel.
Oke, I spell in Indonesia. Silakan bagi yang mau bertanya.
Ayo Renhard, nanya Renhard, nongol doang.
Oke.
Selamat
Halo,
datang.
sir.
Selamat datang.
Hello, sir.
I forgot. I don't want to speak any words that they come to me because I'm afraid I might say something that it's not very nice.
Okay, any question? Please.
Mini. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
I just like to ask your opinion concerning this situation about COVID-19 pandemic. Could COVID-19 pandemic change architectural style, especially house design or maybe interior design? Like architects make some new house design. Thank you.
Can somebody help me, because I didn't hear very well. The sound was not very good. I'm sorry.
It's not really clear for me too.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, yes.
I'd like to ask your opinion about concerning this situation about COVID-19 pandemic. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
What do you think about could COVID-19 pandemic change architectural style, especially house design? Maybe interior design, like architect make some new house design? Thank you.
You asked me if I heard well. Please, I'm going to repeat it so I make sure I answer the correct question. If I think that the coronavirus, the COVID-19, is going to change architecture.
Yes, correct.
The answer is yes and no, because architecture is okay. We design for today, of course. We cannot ignore today. Okay, like I have a very difficult. I have a very big difficulty when I see a friend of mine not to give me my hand or not to hug him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a very difficult time because usually Greek people are very they show their emotions. Okay, this is not good all the time. It's not a matter of good or bad. I think no. The answer is no. If
Why?
because people had a lot of times in human history. We had pandemics. We had earthquakes. We had difficulties. But the human life, in order to keep going, it needs a closeness. If people don't get close to each other, they cannot be people. They're going to be something else. To tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know. The answer would be I don't know. It's, you know, I will answer that question more smartly and as a professor. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When they asked Louis Kahn, do you know Louis Kahn?
Louis
Yes.
Kahn.
Just now,
Even if
his
you
name.
don't know him, even if you don't know him, it's
I knew
okay.
it.
No problem. When that's all. Well, you can, because when I was in architecture, they were telling, I was very young, and they were telling me, "Do you know him?" And I said, "Oh my God, I don't know anybody.
Are Louis
They know
Kahn,
everybody, and I don't know anybody." You know. Anyhow, when they asked Louis Kahn to design the house of the future, he said, "I cannot." Say, why? He says, because when I design it, if I design it, it's not going to be the house of the future. It's going to be the house of the present. So it's very hard to predict and say, this thing is going to happen in the future. Of course, everything that is happening is affecting people and affecting their lives. But you see, when the Romans in 100 AC, they could build up to 6 stories. The Roman Empire. Okay, they could build 6 stories. So people were thinking that in 500 BC they could be able to build 100 stories. This is not true because Roman Empire collapsed.
Yeah.
So they built 100 stories, but many, many years after. So it's very difficult to say if this is going to affect. I think that human isolation is another. I don't see coronavirus by itself. I see it as a result of internet, of tele-education, of people that it's political, it's complicated. So your question is very deep and very interesting, but I don't think I can help you.
okay, sir. So,
with an answer, I mean, that's what I mean.
if you say house cannot change design, will the office or universal design change the design?
No, I think no, it doesn't change. I think the house. I don't know how many people are looking at us right now, so I can 29. The house is the love of your mother. The love of your mother doesn't change. You know, it's more basic thing. For me, house is not a form. You understand? House is when we eat together and when we do this thing. Okay, for us, of course, is the form because we are architects, is plus the form. Okay, the forms might change, but let's say if they're going to find for this virus the correct cure, the curation, the pill, is it going to change back again? Yeah, maybe yes. Because human, they share almost the same values, I think. Except if something happens and we have no humanity after 5 years. I don't know. I hope not, but you don't understand what I'm saying.
Okay, sir. Thank you. It's such a good opinion.
No, sorry.
I think.
Okay, thank you for Reinhard for your question. I think is very interesting. And there is last question, I think. We will close this session. We can take a very big applause for Prof. Theoklis. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Bravo, bravo.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
We have a lot education and learning about a host in this session. I think about we know about human being, ability, and centrality and inclusivity. And then we have two note, three note in this our concept house, and then a lot of learning about house in this session, I think. And then I hope we can share about another topic in another session, maybe.
I will be very, very happy.
And then maybe we can go to a workshop. For,
Maybe that would be a very good idea.
For next
Because you
session.
have to remember, close
Yeah.
is another thing. To get
Okay.
close is another thing.
Okay. I give thank you so much, Prof.
I really appreciate to give me
Theo.
this opportunity to talk.
Okay. I think we can close this session. I hope you enjoy, and then
I really enjoyed it, guys. Very, very much.
I hope my students
very serious.
enjoy too, and then we can see in another session. Thank you
Please
so much.